Women hide their deepest desires behind behavioral walls, but her body always tells the truth. Most men will never recognize these 6 signs, not because they're invisible, but because you're not trained to see what's already been shown. Before we dive in, take 1 second to support this channel. Tap that like button, subscribe so you don't miss my future videos, and let me know in the comments where are you watching from today. Listen, this isn't about manipulation, this is about something deeper. You've been conditioned to believe that reading a woman's mind is impossible, taught that women are enigmas, mysteries wrapped in contradiction, but that's not the truth. That's the limitation speaking. Here's what philosophy reveals that modern dating culture refuses to admit. Every human being is simultaneously honest and hidden. We all broadcast our genuine intentions through micro-expressions, through the body, through the untamed nervous system. The conscious mind lies, the body cannot. For decades, you've been looking at what women say. You've been taking words seriously. Words are politics. Words are negotiation. But the nervous system is democracy. It doesn't discriminate, it doesn't perform. This matters to you because you're tired of guessing. You're tired of the anxiety. You're tired of wondering if she's genuinely interested or if she's just being nice. That uncertainty isn't witnessing you. It's evidence that you've been playing a game with incomplete information. Today changes that. Understanding these signs doesn't make you a predator, it makes you literate. It gives you the ability to read the most complex language ever spoken, not words, the language of truth, the language of desire itself. When a man learns to read this language, everything shifts. He stops chasing ghosts. He stops investing in May. He moves through the world with a different kind of confidence, not arrogance, clarity. Let me ground this in something irrefutable. The human nervous system operates on what neuroscientists call the polyvagal theory, developed by Dr. Kurt Stephen Poor. It reveals that our social engagement system, the deepest, oldest part of our brain, communicates before consciousness does. It communicates through micro-expressions that last 125th of a second, through pupil dilation, through breath, through the subtle tilt of the head. Women are not more mysterious than men. They are simply more trained in suppression. Socialization has taught them that desire is something to conceal, to manage, to weaponize strategically. But under pressure, under proximity, when her guard dissolves, her authentic nervous system emerges. The research is clear. A study published in Psychological Science examined how individuals assess romantic interest. Conclusion: the body never lies when someone is genuinely attracted. Eye contact duration increases. The shoulders relax backward. Mirroring behavior becomes unconscious and automatic. But here's what's crucial. These signs only appear in specific contexts, only when certain conditions are met, only when she's no longer performing. That's why most men miss it. They're looking for obvious signals, grand gestures, explicit statements. They miss the subtle recalibration of her body in your presence, the way her breath changes, the way she leans in, the way her voice lowers to a frequency meant only for you. Psychology reveals something humbling. The brain processes visual information at a rate of 11 million bits per second. Your conscious mind, it can handle about 40 bits per second. That means you're missing approximately 10,960 bits of information every single second. You're operating blind. But you can learn to see, not with your conscious mind, with something older. Your intuition, your nervous system responding to her nervous system. That's the recognition we're discussing today. I want you to visualize something. You're in a room with her. Maybe it's a coffee shop. Maybe it's a conversation at a friend's place. The lighting is warm. There's background noise, other people, other distractions, and yet there's a thickness to the air between you. Not awkwardness, something else. A current. A gravitational pull that nobody else in the room can feel, but you both know exists. She's saying something. Her words are casual, normal, but something underneath is moving. Something in her is reaching toward you, while her conscious mind maintains plausible deniability. This is the state we're entering. This is where the 6 signs emerge. This is what separates the men who understand female psychology from the men who remain perpetually confused. Everything begins with breath. Not metaphorically, literally. When a woman is in genuine proximity to a man she craves, her parasympathetic nervous system responds. Her breathing changes. It becomes shallower, faster, more deliberate. Oxygen intake increases because the body is preparing for what? Contact, connection, vulnerability. You've experienced this yourself. When you're nervous around someone you're attracted to, your chest tightens. Your breath becomes audible to your own ears. Suddenly, the simple act of inhaling and exhaling requires consciousness. She experiences this too, and she knows it's visible, so she manages it. She deepens her breath consciously. She tries to regulate. But here's what's critical. When she's engaged with you, when she's leaning into conversation, her breath will still change. You'll notice it if you're paying attention. You'll see her chest rise more prominently. You'll hear a slight catch in her voice when she says something vulnerable. You'll observe the micropause before she speaks, as if she's gathering herself. This isn't anxiety necessarily, it's activation. Her body is turned on, not sexually, not yet. But neurologically, she's heightened. She's present in a way she isn't with other people. The reason this matters, breathing is the one autonomous nervous system function you can observe without being invasive. You don't need to touch her. You don't need to ask personal questions. You simply notice. Does her breathing change when she sees you? Does it normalize when you're apart? Does it quicken when the conversation becomes more intimate? If yes, that's the first sign. Her body is communicating what her words won't. Look into her eyes, not romantically, scientifically. The human pupil is a window into the autonomic nervous system. It expands and contracts based on light years, but also based on psychological arousal. When someone is interested, stimulated, drawn to something, the pupils dilate. This is involuntary, automatic. It cannot be suppressed through willpower alone. Women know this about themselves. They know that dilated pupils signal interest. So, in professional settings, in public settings, they often reduce lighting awareness or position themselves so their eyes are in shadow. But in intimate moments, in moments of genuine connection, they can't hide it. When you're talking to her, really talking, not small talk, observe her eyes. Are they changing? Is there a glossiness to them? A softness? Are her pupils larger than they were 5 minutes ago when you first started the conversation? Here's what's happening physiologically. Increased dopamine is flooding her system. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of desire, of anticipation, of wanting. It dilates the pupils. It sharpens focus. It makes everything about you, your words, your presence, your energy, more vivid to her neurological system. This is not imagination. This is not projection. This is measurable biological reality. The complication, lighting matters. You can't accurately assess pupil size in bright sunlight, but in moderate lighting, in a room where you can see clearly, this becomes an objective indicator. If her pupils expand when she sees you, if they dilate when the conversation becomes personal, that's the second sign. Her body is saying yes before her voice catches up. Distance is a language all its own. The anthropologist Edward Hall called this proxemics, the study of how humans use space. He identified distinct distance zones. There's public distance, social distance, personal distance, and intimate distance. Most people maintain social distance with acquaintances and professionals, 12 to 4 feet. It's safe. It's neutral. It requires no emotional risk. Personal distance, 2 to 4 feet, is reserved for friends and people we trust. Intimate distance, under 18 inches, is for lovers and family. Now, here's what's crucial. A woman will often permit a man into her personal space if she's comfortable. But comfort is not the same as craving. Comfort is maintenance. Craving is magnetic. When a woman craves you, she doesn't just permit proximity, she orchestrates it. She creates situations where she's close to you. She sits beside you instead of across from you. She leans in during conversation. She positions herself so that your arms might accidentally brush. She reduces the buffer zone gradually, testing your response. But more than that, and this is the key, she doesn't look uncomfortable. She looks like she's exactly where she wants to be. There's a difference between someone allowing you in her space because it's socially awkward not to, and someone who chooses proximity because she wants to be near you. The choosing looks like ease. She's dropped a layer of protection. The lack of space between you two has become the most natural place for her body to be. When you notice this happening, when she's consistently finding reasons to be close, when she's comfortable with reduced distance, when she's not creating excuses or explanations for why she's near you. That's the third sign. She's testing the waters, she's communicating nonverbally. I am safe with you. I want to be near you. Listen to her voice, not just the words, the texture of it. The human voice operates across a spectrum of frequencies. Lower frequencies communicate power and authority. Higher frequencies communicate vulnerability and femininity. Most women modulate their voice throughout the day. Around authority figures, their voice might ascend to a higher pitch, a subconscious gesture of submission or deference. Around peers, it normalizes. Around people they're attracted to, something unexpected happens. Their voice often lowers. This is called the acoustic attraction signal. When a woman is genuinely interested in a man, her vocal cords relax, her pitch descends. The result is a voice that sounds closer to her natural baseline, stripped of social performance. Simultaneously, her voice becomes more intimate. She speaks more softly, not because she's uncertain, but because she's creating an enclosed space, a conversation that's just for you, excluding the rest of the world. You've heard this before. You know what it sounds like. It's the voice she uses when she's alone with you, and she's decided the masks are unnecessary. But there's another layer. When a woman is craving you specifically, she'll also introduce slight changes in her speech patterns. She might laugh more frequently. She might pause longer before responding, taking time to consider what she's saying, conscious that her words matter to you. She might repeat phrases you've used, matching your communication style. This is called synchrony, and it's a powerful indicator of genuine interest. When you're speaking to her and you notice that her voice is softened, that she's speaking more deliberately, that there's a richness or warmth to her tone that doesn't appear when she's talking to other people, that's the fourth sign. She's lowering her defenses audibly. She's speaking to you in a voice reserved for people who matter. Here's something that reveals genuine interest more clearly than anything else. What she remembers. People remember what matters to them, not consciously always, but the brain prioritizes information from sources that activate the reward system. When someone is interested in you, your details, your stories, your preferences, your past get encoded into long-term memory. This is why she'll remember something you mentioned casually 3 weeks ago. This is why she'll know how you take your coffee. This is why she'll reference a comment you made in passing and build a thought around it. But here's the paradox. If she's craving you, she'll also be strategic about how she reveals this memory. She won't immediately demonstrate that she remembers everything. That would be too obvious, too exposing. Instead, she'll bring it up naturally. She'll weave it into conversation as if it just occurred to her. Oh, I saw this thing yesterday and thought of that story you told me. She's signaling, I think about you when you're not here. Your words stay with me. This is profound because it's intimate without being explicitly romantic. It's proof of attention, proof of genuine interest. Most men miss this. They misinterpret it as casual friendliness, but it's not. It's a woman demonstrating that she's invested enough to retain details about you, that you've moved from background noise to foreground significance. Additionally, notice if she asks follow-up questions about things you've mentioned. Not generic questions, specific ones that reveal she was actually listening, not just waiting for her turn to talk. When she consistently remembers details about your life, when she brings up things you shared without prompting, when she asks substantive follow-up questions about your interests and past, that's the fifth sign. She's encoding you into her internal world. She's proving through memory that you matter. This is the deepest sign, the one that requires the most attention to recognize. When a woman is truly craving you, she will gradually lower her protective walls. She'll share things she typically keeps hidden. She'll reveal insecurities, past hurts, dreams she's embarrassed about, truths about herself that require courage to voice. This is called the vulnerability cascade. It's a progressive deepening of self-disclosure that occurs when someone feels genuinely safe with another person. But here's what separates casual openness from genuine craving. The context of her vulnerability matters intensely. She might share vulnerable things with a therapist because that's the therapist's job. She might share with a close friend because that friendship has been established over years. But when she shares vulnerable things with you without you earning it through relationship history, without you formally requesting it, she's communicating something crucial. She's saying, I feel safe enough with you to show you my truths. I'm willing to be seen by you. I'm willing to risk. And here's the deeper layer. She'll often test your response. She'll share something vulnerable and then watch your face. She's unconsciously assessing, will he judge me? Will he use this against me? Will he still want me if he knows this truth? When you respond with genuine acceptance, when you don't weaponize her vulnerability, when you hold her truth without criticism, she recognizes you as safe, and safety triggers deeper craving. The more emotionally safe you are, the more she will lower her defenses. Watch for escalating vulnerability. Watch for her sharing things that are increasingly personal. Watch for the moment where she stops performing and simply exists in your presence. When her walls dissolve progressively, when she shares things that reveal her authentic self, when she demonstrates trust through vulnerability, that's the sixth sign. She's given you access to her interior world. She's placed her emotional existence in your hands. These six signs don't exist in isolation. They exist in combination, in pattern, in a coherence that becomes undeniable when you see it clearly. A single sign can be ambiguous. Pupil dilation might be caffeine. A voice shift might be a cold. Proximity could be coincidence. Memory retention might be incidental. But when all six are present, when her breath changes and her pupils dilate, and she positions herself close to you, and her voice softens, and she remembers details, and she gradually reveals her true self, that's not ambiguity. That's clarity. That's her communicating across all the neurological channels available to her that she craves you, that she wants you, that your presence matters in a way that activates her entire nervous system. Here's what most men are missing. We've been taught that desire is something women grant reluctantly, that attraction is a transaction, that women are gatekeepers and men are supplicants hoping for access. The truth is different. When a woman genuinely desires you, she's not reluctant. She's not withholding, she's radiating it, she's communicating it through every available channel, through her breath and her eyes and her proximity and her voice and her memory and her vulnerability. She's telling you in the language that predates words. The only question is whether you're developed enough as a man to listen. This isn't about manipulation, it's about literacy. It's about becoming sophisticated enough to perceive the truth that's already being communicated, to read what's written on our nervous system, to understand that desire is not hidden. It's simply expressed in a language most men haven't learned. When you develop this literacy, something shifts. You stop chasing, you stop guessing, you stop investing in may. You begin to move through the world with a different kind of presence, a presence that's grounded in truth, in clear perception, in the ability to recognize genuine interest when it's standing in front of you. And here's the profound part. When a man develops this ability, the women in his life sense it. They recognize that he can see them, that he can perceive their truth, that he won't be manipulated by performance or confused by contradiction. So learn these signs, not to manipulate, to perceive, not to control, to understand. Become the man who can read the language and watch as the world and the women in your world respond to that capability with a recognition that transcends words. That's the truth underneath everything.